Welcome to Eviliv3, the live media commentary show that answers the question, can I get through this review without breaking down and crying? Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because today
The
we're
answer
reviewing
is no.
HBO's The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 6, The Price. And you know what? The intro of this had the two of them at the mushroom at the very end of the opening video, which lets you know that I'm going to be a broken down man. There was
Yep.
so much about this episode that just killed me. But
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
that's one reason why I will never skip intros when that's an option. Just because that chance that it might be different because of, different material. And
Yeah.
finally paid off with this.
I mean, it was just a series of flashbacks. That's what this episode was, to contextualize why Ellie is going through all this shit to get revenge, and to explain why they were sort of had a falling out in the first place, and why even the psychiatrist was pissed off at Joel, like where all that came from. And fucking hell did this deliver in the most emotionally resonant way possible. So again, the episode's called The Price. It was directed by Neil Druckmann, written by Neil Druckmann, Haley Gross, and Craig Mazin. And all these are bangers, but this one was a fucking banger.
Yeah.
Just,
This one had the same emotional resonance of episode 4 of the previous season. The Nick Offerman episode.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
that one was hard to keep my tears in. This was just as bad. And especially because, like, we understand from the beginning of this season, Gail and Eugene, that whole dynamic. Well, not the dynamic, but, the episode specifically where Joel goes to see Gail and she's like, I fucking hate you. I should hate you. I understand why you did it, but fuck you. So it's like, well, yeah, how much more intense can it get? And then we get this, and it's like, holy fucking shit.
Dude, the actors in this are just, no one's mailing it in. Everyone is on their peak performance. And especially in this episode. I mean, fuck me. Everyone was great. So we start with Joel just giving great birthday gifts to Ellie, showcasing how much he loves her. And if they hadn't done all the whole first season, you could make the argument, well, he's just trying to make up for his own daughter. But no, he actually sees her as a daughter. And when she reacts saying, I'm not your kid, I'm your partner, you can see that kind of wound him a little bit.
Oh yeah, that broke him.
I mean,
absolutely broke him.
Everything he's doing is with concern, intention. Even the lies are not to hurt her, but to, in some way, protect her. And you can make an argument that it doesn't make sense and he should just tell her the truth or whatever, but it's the choice he made, and he made it for her. And
at the end of the episode, we understand, like, why he did it. Because he knows Ellie so fucking well, so why wouldn't he lie to her about it?
Yeah. Oh, there's so much to go over. The moment when she gets into the spaceship and he gives her the tape about the liftoff, and we get that imagination moment where as if she was going up into space. I mean, moments like that, I grew up. I had the very vivid imagination as a kid, well, now even. And so I think all artists do anyway. I mean, did you experience stuff like that where you just sort of latch
Did
on?
I, or do I still?
Right.
Yeah, no, I can very easily buy into fantasy. Yeah, and I loved it because that, like, I understand they couldn't spend the entire episode in the museum, but I mean, that's a very, very, very meaningful part of the game. And that's the peak of it is when she's in the shuttle. But yeah, no, that just it hits so well, and it was so believable.
Was it very like point for point and just took longer, or in the game?
Yeah, well, so the lead up to get into the shuttle was longer because there's exploration of the museum, there's animals, dinosaurs, shit like that, like all kinds of cool stuff. Stuff that wouldn't necessarily be, it wouldn't change the episode any, but yeah, all the points that the game hit, this hit with the museum.
That's cool. I love him bartering to get the cake, and then it's
Mhm.
still slightly off, but he like
Yeah,
turns around and she's like already fisting the cake, like just be eating it, just like, no, it's great.
right. I hope he bakes better than he smells. Rah.
He does. And she's like, no, play me some. Let me see what you got. And he does this. I don't know what song that was. I really have no idea, but it
Yeah,
fucking
that
got me.
yeah, it's not even the fact that he was playing so well or that his voice was so good, but it was just that pure emotion behind it. It's like, God damn it, man, you're so
Do you
fucking good.
think this would have hit as hard if we hadn't had the absence of Joel for so many episodes? Like,
No.
it was very much a homecoming, and it reminded me why I loved this show so much, because it was the dynamic between Joel and Ellie.
Mhm.
And I miss that now. Uh, and I understand that it contextualizes the things that are happening, but I really wish he was more part of the show somehow. If we just had more time in flashbacks, or just something, or like he popped up, he's
Mhm.
like, "Just kidding, I'm not dead." I'd be like, "Yes, let's go!" Haha.
Right. It's like this doesn't make sense at all, but
Yeah,
okay, I'm on board.
but I'm gonna just we're still gonna do it.
Yeah.
I love Pedro. What are you gonna do?
Right.
I
No,
love
it
his
was
shitty beard and mustache, like everything.
yeah. Yeah, he pulls that off really well. Usually patchy beards are terrible, but it looks good on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the game in the sense that we have such a huge gap from the time that he dies until this moment
Oh wow.
that it just makes it so much more meaningful when we get to spend so much time with him.
Did we in the game? Did we get his dad moment?
No, that's new to
Ooh,
this, I believe. Which
that.
yep, I fucking remembered scene for scene, damn near line for line when that happened, and still I'm like, "Oh, I'm fucking crying. Fuck you, TV. Don't judge me."
It hit me
Because
so hard. So hard.
like I've had that fucking conversation with my dad.
Wow.
I'm yeah, we're moving on. Fuck me. Yeah, man, it's so goddamn good.
That's what every parent, like, we've always talked about how trauma is learned behavior and abuse is learned behavior, and um it can, yes, it is learned. It doesn't mean it has to be repeated or
Mhm.
as badly. I remember my mother and my sister talking about, because we have a lot of surprise mental issues in my family. They're just like everyone all on the line down is just fucked up in some way, going back to antiquity. Um, and my sister was like, "No, it actually gets better with each generation. It's not as powerful, and everyone seems to be able to deal with it a little bit better the further on we get as a family, which is hopeful."
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's true. But that's what this felt like, in a different way, where the pattern of abuse, of violent or aggressive behavior, of caring about your children and not wanting to wound them, that part gets more powerful and the abuse gets less powerful. The on, on it goes. And so the best you can do is be a little bit better than what you
Mhm.
had, because that's the only litmus test you have of what is a good family life. You only have your own experience. And so
Yep.
and I know I've done this very much, and I know my kids have a very much healthier, not healthy, but healthier family life than I ever had with my family. I mean, it was fucked. And so, I live that every day. Like, okay, I have to be a little bit better than I had it. Because when
Mhm.
I had conversations with my real dad, did not go well. And when I had conversations with my stepdad, it did not always go well. And so, just having that moment where he's like, "You're not going to hit him," and he's just like, goes and gets the beers, sits down, gives him one, and he's just like, "My dad fucked me up. Like, I almost died. And I know I get out of hand, but I'm trying." And that's all. I distinctly had this conversation with my son. I'm like, I'm sorry. Oh, whoa. Hold on, this is gonna get me. I gotta.
Yeah, this is a
Wah.
fucked up episode, man. It's
I was like,
yeah.
everyone says it's hard being a parent, and it you don't really understand how true that is until you're seeing yourself being a parent and you're realizing how much you're fucking up every day. And like, I'm sorry. I'm doing my very, very best, and I'm trying to be a good father to you. And I'm sorry that I'm failing so much, but please understand, damn it, that I'm trying, you know? It's like that
Yeah.
same type of conversation. And just watching that between these two and then vicariously living through that and having personal experience, which I'm sure everyone watching it has had,
Mhm.
all living our own, reliving our own life experiences that are somewhat similar to that. And it's just Tear City. You can't turn it off. It's just like
Yeah.
the waterworks were turned on, and you just have to live here now.
Yeah, man. And it's like we get that at the beginning, and then the conversation they have at the end. It's just, yeah.
Fuck.
There was
Yeah.
there was tear stains on my shirt towards the end from having to wipe my face multiple times.
100%.
Yeah,
It's,
it's just
but in such
so
a wonderful
fucking
way. Like
brutal.
I,
Mhm,
this is a zombie movie, a zombie series, a fucking
mhm.
zombie series, and I'm openly weeping.
Right.
Like,
This is what um uh the fuck is that one show? Oh, Walking Dead.
mhm.
This is what The Walking Dead thought they could
Yeah,
do.
wishes on their best day.
And yeah, it's even the worst episode of this shit is better than anything that they ever put out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's just so
it's
fucking
just
good,
so
and
fucking
nothing can
brilliant.
compare to it either. Like I remember watching, doing my review for 28 Years Later, and I think it was Chris who put a comment in there after the fact where he was like, "How does this compare to Last of Us?" And I'm like, "You can't compare things to Last of Us.
Mhm.
There's
No.
no A to B comparison at all. Like
Yeah,
they
no,
are different beasts."
everything about this show and the video game series, it's perfection.
Yeah,
Like, this is what happens when people are allowed to do their craft to the fullest extent of their ability, and it's just nothing but concern for the art.
yeah.
It's perfection.
I love Joel walking in on Ellie and the girl.
Yeah.
He's like, all the shit at once, huh? Drugs, fooling around, tattoo.
Experimenting with girls. It's not experimenting.
That was so great because how could he not know at that point? Like,
Yeah, especially because she has hinted
yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Is it just like a cultural thing? He just didn't see it, didn't want to even consider it? Like, because he's clearly not against it because he
Yeah.
embraces it later on with her.
Mhm.
The idea that, people can be happy and not be like you, something the rest of this world should probably get in line with.
Yeah. There's a novel idea, right?
Yeah. But I thought it was so beautiful because yeah, every single kid has to individuate. They have to
Mhm.
break out of the boundaries of their parents' expectations because they have to find out who they are, and so they're going to be experimenting and doing things that they may never do again. They need to find what works for them, and the only way to do that is to break rules and to push the
Mhm.
limits. And so like I remember my son, he was much older, before he was going to go off into the military. He was like, "Dad, you did drugs when you were younger, right?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, of course." And so he was 18, out of school and working. And he was like, "Yeah, can I tell you something?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "I've done drugs a few times." I was like, "Really? What kinds?" And it's mainly like weed and stuff. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. That's cool." He's
That's
like,
cute.
"I was so yeah, right. I was so worried to tell you. Like, I thought you were gonna freak out." I was like, Gabriel, um, you're a much better kid than I ever was, and your worst was a lot better than my worst. So I'm
Right.
fine with it. Like you could have told me when you were doing it, and I would have been much more understanding than my parents were, especially if it's just weed. Like who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Who gives a fuck? Like, oh no, you're doing something that everybody else does. How terrible.
Right. But I love that he was worried about it, and then when it came out, it was a nothing burger, and he just felt like,
Ah,
oh, I don't have the secret anymore.
God, that is just so fucking hilarious.
It's great. I just felt so good when he did that because not only is it him opening up to me in some way,
Mhm.
but it's also just that shared connection now that we don't feel like we have to hide things. Like it's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay. Like, you can
Mhm.
always tell me. I may freak out for a moment if it's really something outside of my wheelhouse, but I'm always going to be here to support you because I'm your dad and that's what I want to do. Like, that's why I'm still here, literally. So, let's and I'm hoping that my daughter feels the exact same way because it's true. I would be as, open and accepting of her. I'm a little more cautious with her because she's reliant on the other dude to have a good, healthy condom. If anything like that ever had happened, like if
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a little bit different because guys are real shitty and like
Mhm.
women, I don't know. Women are shitty too. I'm not trying to say they're not, but it's just like I feel like they're more likely to like rape someone. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying all guys will. I'm just saying kids at a certain age who get to a certain point mentally, like they're just like roaring to go. When the woman says no, they don't necessarily hear it.
Mhm.
And that terrifies me. And so I'm a little bit more cautious with her when it comes to behavior and who she hangs out and where she hangs out and stuff like that than I ever was with my son. But it just goes to open communication and understanding threats in real life and stuff. And so I
Yeah.
everything that we're seeing with Joel and Ellie, I am literally living through right now with my daughter. And it is the most uncomfortable thing to watch. And it just breaks me down, especially when we had that moment at the very, very end. But like hit like that guy calling them a dyke and Joel rushing over there and like pushing him down to the ground. I would have tackled that motherfucker and started pummeling him if someone called
Yeah.
my daughter. Even
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
fucking true, I don't care.
A quick little shove. It's pretty mellow.
Hmm.
Like, I'm probably pulling a fucking knife or gun on somebody.
I mean, he's just fucked.
Yeah.
Especially when that's the dude who made her birthday cakes, right?
Yeah.
Like they have a history. Why is he being like this now? Fuck you, dude. I'm gonna fuck you up. And then it's just sort
Yeah.
of like, oh, and you're a cop too, so fuck off.
Yeah, that's when the extra little boot to the forehead happens.
It's tough because I've met some nice police officers, but
Mhm.
I've met infinitely more assholes.
Yeah,
Infinitely more.
it's so rare that there's any sort of in between where it's just like, oh yeah, the guy's all right. No,
Yeah.
either they're cool as fuck and like if you spend time with them, you love spending time with them, or they're the largest thunder cunt in existence.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Cops, you need to do better. I'm just saying
Yeah,
it. You gotta do
yeah.
better.
Find a middle ground for your asshole comrades, because the cool ones are really fucking cool.
Yeah. And I like he takes her out on her first like outing to patrol her first patrol,
Mhm.
and they run across. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's so amazing.
Yeah, Eugene was
Um,
brilliant.
gosh, I wish
I
I could
just I
find his
love
name.
I love the lead up to it,
Yeah.
because of the fact that she's awake like early as fuck, and she is not an early riser because she's going through her head and rehearsing what she's going to say because she wants answers to the fireflies, like what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck happened, and she is getting ready to just fucking unload on him, and then he's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm taking you on your
Mm-hmm.
first venture," and then she's like, "Okay, cool, climb up and get the fuck on with life."
Yeah. It's so hard to confront whether it's a parent or a friend or some other adult in a position of power over you to confront them honestly when you know that there could be a negative reaction. But
Yeah,
it's a skill it's a muscle you have to develop because
yeah,
every
definitely.
single human being is going to run into the situation where you have to stand up for yourself and you have to ask the tough questions or demand answers or action that are just in your opinion, and that people are taking advantage of you and they're going to freak out and act like little babies when you confront them, and it's going to be wildly uncomfortable and you could end up ruining a relationship or something over it. But as a human adult, you have to be able to have those moments and stand up for yourself. I mean, I stood up to commanders in the military, to employers very, very recently, like in very awkward, uncomfortable positions. But you just have to, when sometimes you take your lumps, but you have to
Mhm.
be able to stand up on your own two feet and respect yourself the next day. And that means that it's going to get uncomfortable sometimes, but get
Yep,
used to it because that's life. No one's going to stand up for
pretty
you. You
much.
have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And so I was
Yeah,
a
so
little
it's a
bit bugged that
motherfucker.
she still didn't say, "Hey, will you come and sit down before we go, please? We need to clear this up." For the story, it worked better for that, to have that end moment. But
Mhm.
in the moment, I really wish she would have just been like, "Yeah, let's go, but first, I want to talk."
Yeah. Well, and I get it because the excitement of her first patrol, it's like that overrides everything.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't want to fuck that up either. It's like, well, we'll have the real shit later after I've experienced real life.
right. So let's talk about Eugene because, all intents and purposes, it looks like he could have easily lived long enough to get there and do it.
Hmm.
So, what is it you think that drove um, Joel not to let him go and say the last words?
He is a very, very staunch obeyer of rules, because he understands what can happen with one little slip up.
Right.
From his time with the Fireflies, his time with Fedra, like every aspect. Wait, was it Fedra that was? I don't remember. Anyways, like basically every aspect of his life since the apocalypse happened, he understands just how the slightest thing can fuck everything up. So, yeah, that would be my guess as to why he did it.
Yeah. And it was so heartbreaking when Eugene was like, "I don't need her to hear my last word. I needed to hear hers." And I was just like, "Oh man."
Yeah,
Like,
man,
ugh.
that fucking got me both times because yeah, it's like that's. I imagine that's how it would be when I go. Like if I am consciously aware of my own mortality, like I'm gonna check out here in like a minute or two.
Mm,
I got nothing to say. I just wanted the last thing in my fucking head that's pinging around in there is my wife saying something to me. Now,
yeah.
granted, it'd probably be something snotty, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's why I'm dying, fucking turd." But still, like, yeah, I get it. I get it.
Something like, "I hope you enjoyed the poison." You're like,
Right?
"It
Shouldn't
makes
make my
sense."
fucking candy bar, asshole. Fucking worth it, bitch.
That's love, people. That's
Mhm.
love. Chris had the
Absolutely.
same thought. He imagined Joel saw someone turn quicker than expected, and but someone, which is why he had to take Eugene out. Yeah, it hurt me a little bit because it seemed like they have seen them people turn, and it took a long time, but it didn't take that long. Like when we watched, oh, what was her name at the very first season, when she sort of sacrificed herself and blew up the grenade to let them all get out. Like she
Yeah, that was
turned real
minutes.
quick.
Yeah.
Like it was fast as fuck. So like from that perspective, it's not like there's a set, "Oh, he has 15 minutes before he turns into a, mushroom head."
Mhm.
Like you don't know. Like it affects people differently, and so for that reason, I could understand him not wanting to walk all the way back and be like, "Hey, wifey, come talk to your husband's dying."
Right.
Um, and it's a risk, an unnecessary risk when you think life or death.
Mhm.
In that sort of like A and B black and white world where one accident is the end. And so you have to be super, super cautious about everything. And I get that Ellie is leaning in with compassion and love because that's what she wants in this world.
Mhm.
Not just for herself, but other people. She's um, a pretty well actualized human being as much as one can be in this type of a world, which
Yeah,
I really like
definitely.
seeing. But she seems pretty healthy after all the shit that's happened to her. So let's talk about that end when she comes back and she confronts him, um,
Dude.
because that was
Kath
rough.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, it all starts with the Catherine O'Hara shit.
Oh
Like,
man, she
yeah,
is
where
amazing.
Eugene, they bring him back, and he wanted to tell you that he loved you, and he did it himself because he didn't want to hurt anybody. Then that fucking slap, like she's hugging him, he's holding her, he's trying to comfort her, and then Ellie's just like, no, and she's like, you motherfucker, smack, get out of here. That's just like, damn. It's like all he was trying to do was to help one person deal with the shittiest day of their life. And you got to be a fucking snot about it.
Yeah, that was rough because I did feel like Ellie was in the wrong to tell her that.
100%.
Um,
But I mean, that's
but
also like something that kids would do.
yeah,
Like, I mean, my sister was a great example of that. Growing up, she was the worst fucking tattletale on herself ever.
oh wow,
she was always getting in trouble for shit she did because she would snitch on herself. It's like, dude, come
Jeez.
on, just shut the fuck up. You could have got away with this.
Yeah, I just wish if I was Catherine O'Hara's character, I would want to know the truth. And so
Mhm.
I would have appreciated that she told me, but as just an average human living their lives that, you always have to lie through life, that's bullshit. you don't you don't you may feel better for having said it, but you just made everyone else feel worse. So thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Really shitty thing to do. All right, here's the question. What would you guys like to see before your last moments? Chris wants to see some boobs. Some melons.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. So,
Remember when we had that big earthquake a couple years back?
uh-huh.
Uh, like it was like thundering the entire house, and I thought someone was like stomping up and down. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I went out there and realized that it was an earthquake. The only thing I did was grab my wife and my daughter and just held them because I didn't know what was going to happen. We don't normally have earthquakes here, and so I've experienced earthquakes before, but I don't know if it's going to get worse or if something else is happening, and so I just held them. I don't know that I would want to see something. I just know I want to have that tactile sensation of proximity. Just
Mhm.
holding them. That is what I want in the end. Ultimately,
Yeah.
because in life, I feel alone in here every day.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
having that,
that's the reality of living. Like
yeah,
you're born alone, you die alone, everything else is lying to yourself.
yeah. So just having that
Yeah.
closeness and that physical skin to skin or body to body contact. That's what I would want more than anything else.
That's my thing too. I had a vet once tell me that one of the last senses that animals, so I'm just assuming that people are that way too, but one of the last senses they have is actually their smell.
Oh,
So fuck
aw.
this episode.
Yeah,
We're gonna cry a lot this
yeah.
So the last thing I do when I'm saying goodbye to one of my animals is I make sure that I'm laying there face to face with them
Oh,
and telling them how much I love them.
oh,
That way, at least, the smell of my skin, the smell of my breath is with them as they're
that
going.
pastrami sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, last time it was, to be fair, last time it was Reese's.
Ooh, that's a good way
So
to
it's
go.
pretty good. Yeah. I mean, she got Reese's before she went
Oh,
too. So,
oh,
but
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
that's what I'd want.
Yeah,
Boobies are a close second, though.
yeah,
Very, very close second.
yeah. No, I mean, there's no wrong answer here. So that
Yeah.
smell thing kills me though.
Yeah.
Like that's
No,
brutal.
yeah, that fucked me up when
Oh,
my vet had told me that. And it's like, that's all I think about now with death is, man, I really hope whoever I'm with when they die, I don't fucking stink.
hope I didn't just bust ass.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so they have that stink moment when she slaps him, and he just looks at Ellie like, "What the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?" And she's just like, "You promised me. You promised." And I just wanted to like shout through the screen at the character like, "That's what it means to be an adult. You have to fucking lie sometimes. You don't get
Right.
it? You don't get it? You can't always be honest, especially to the ones you love because that's where they're going to get hurt the worst."
Yep.
Fuck. And
Yeah.
it doesn't make logical sense because you want to be honest with the people you care about the most, but those are the
And
ones you're telling the
sometimes,
little white lies to.
yeah, sometimes honesty is not the best option.
Yeah. Um, and then of course Ellie comes back from that New Year's Day or New Year's Eve party or whatever it was, and she just says, "Look, I'm going to ask you some questions, and this is it. You lie to me, and we're done." And at this point, I'd already been just a waterfall, and so I knew it was
Right.
coming, and so it just kept coming. I was just like, I don't have to cry the rest of the year. It's all out now.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Like,
shit.
so I'm just like, all right, here we go. And to see the performance and both of them tearing up and just
Jesus
bawling,
Christ.
just
Yeah.
like, fuck me, this is the best goddamn show ever.
Mhm.
Ever. Ugh.
Well, it's like any other show, it would be slightly more over the top. But like neither of them were like out and out bawling. Like there
Yeah.
was tears consistently going, but they were both keeping their composure. Like, that is the reality of a situation like that, because you don't want to be the one to break. Like, you both want to find a happy middle ground, but the second one of you loses your shit, you lost.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's a winning side and a losing side, because quite frankly, at this moment, they're both fucking losing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just subtle enough that it was fucking real.
But it has that emotional impact to then justify her reaction to Joel because they finally had that cathartic moment together when he's getting beaten to death and killed right in front of her. And then that mania drives her to the actions that she takes where we currently are in the show. Like it just pays everything off perfectly. And if you just remove this episode, then it doesn't really hold the same weight and it doesn't really mean as much. And you start questioning why is she doing it. But with this episode, you're just like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it's especially with the next season, it's going to really lean into the motivation
Oh, cool.
because ultimately Ellie goes to some fucking dark and far places.
Oh, we haven't seen the furthest yet?
No.
Oh,
No.
really?
No, not even fucking close.
Oh my gosh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
Season
know.
3 is definitely going to be way too long
Oh, wow.
in the waiting. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So it's tough to say whether, you had a favorite moment or not in a show that just made you bawl the whole episode. But did you have a favorite moment?
Yes, the good crying. The good crying being the spaceship.
Yeah, that was great.
Like that was just such a beautiful moment because it, and I hate saying this every fucking episode, but like it felt like the game. And it means a lot because that game is so precious to me and so many fucking people.
Yeah.
That being able to have the same feeling and the same, like, just all over the same response, like, it's so beautiful.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I thought that spaceship moment was just stunning, and I'm trying to like run through my head really quick. But I really think my favorite moment was the dad and young Joel having that conversation with the beer. Like he knew his dad was going to lay hands on his brother, and he was going to do everything he could to prevent that, even if it meant just taking it himself. And his dad was just like, "Fuck me, what have I done to get my kids in this position?" And just did his best to explain himself. Like it was so beautiful, and I just bawling, and I was just like, "Fuck me, this is way too real," and that is good television.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just good storytelling. Did you have a least favorite moment?
The amount of crying. not in the show, but in my couch. No, it's again, it's one of those shows that it's fucking perfect in every way.
Yeah, it's stunning. All right, anything else you wanted to cover with this episode?
No, man, we definitely got it.
Fucking good. It was so goddamn good. All right. Well, thank you all so very much. Let us know what you thought of this episode. And are we just a bunch of babies? Did you guys cry too? Let us know, because I'll
if you
accept
guys
it.
didn't cry, then fuck. I mean,
Are you
I
alive?
understand I'm a baby, but this hit.
How could you not? I couldn't even imagine not. But maybe we're just weirdos. Let us know.
Maybe
what you
some
thought.
people had good childhoods and are
How
well-rounded
weird
adults.
would that be?
I know. Mentally stable. That seems boring.
Didn't everyone have a wonderful childhood? Why are they crying? Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, like it or not, evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there and be evil.
Fuck yeah. And sniff some boobies.
Smells just like boobies in here.